What's up, your boy? For another reaction. In today's video, we have That's How Kanye West Broke Adidas.
And about $25 to manufacture. On the resale market, in 2000,
Kanye West, one of the greatest creatives ever. This nigga just a generational person. Fashion, music. I know he say some crazy shit, but he bipolar, y'all. Chill. Da
2020,
da da.
a pair of Adidas Yeezys cost $220 to buy.
My nigga Kanye don't be taking his meds sometimes. As you could tell, as of right now, he's on his meds. You know, he trying to get back in the mainstream, get back in the public eye. You know what I'm saying, and go back to being a celebrity. He trying to be on good graces, like.
And about $25 to manufacture. On the resale market, certain colorways were selling for $2,000. The man responsible for those shoes was pulling in $191 million a year in royalties alone, plus a $100 million annual marketing fund he could spend however he wanted. That man was Kanye West, and within 2 years, he would destroy the most profitable sneaker partnership in history, cost Adidas its first annual loss in 3 decades, and leave 1.2 billion euros worth of shoes sitting in warehouses with nobody willing to touch them. This is not a story about cancellation. This is a story about what happens when a billion-dollar corporation bets everything on one person, and that person decides to burn it all down. Before Adidas, Kanye was at Nike, and that relationship tells you everything about
Kanye was the first rapper to get signed by a shoe brand. Yeah.
what came next. In 2009, Nike released the Air Yeezy 1. It retailed at $250.
Bitch is hard.
It was one of the first non-athlete signature shoes in Nike's history. It sold out instantly. All 3 colorways were gone. Resale prices climbed past $3,000 within months. Then, in June 2012, Nike dropped the Air Yeezy 2. Only 5,000 pairs per colorway. Retail was $245. On eBay, a single pair sold for $90,000 before most people even had a chance to try them on. The shoe was a cultural earthquake. Nothing Nike had released outside of Jordan had ever generated that kind of hysteria. But here's the thing. Kanye made almost nothing from those shoes. Nike's deal was a standard celebrity endorsement. A flat fee, no royalties, no cut of the sales.
Damn, what the fuck?
Every pair of Air Yeezys that resold for $5,000 or $90,000, Kanye's share was 0. Nike kept everything. When Kanye asked for royalties, Nike's position was simple. You are not an athlete. Athletes get royalties. You get a check and
The fuck? What y'all signed before I made a shoe and gave me my own shoe for bitch ass niggas? What? I don't get no royalties. All this money y'all making from the shoe.
a thank you. They offered to donate some of the proceeds to a charity of Kanye's choice instead. Kanye wanted what Michael Jordan had, royalties on every pair sold, his own line, a brand within the brand. Nike said no, so Kanye did something nobody in the sneaker industry expected. He walked away from the biggest sportswear company on earth, and on his way out the door, Nike released one final Air Yeezy, the Red October, in February 2014. The shoe dropped after Kanye had already signed with Adidas. It was Nike selling the last thing Kanye had made for them while he was already building something new for their competitor. Adidas was waiting, and they were desperate. By 2013, Adidas was culturally invisible in America. Nike owned every
And then that nigga saved Adidas.
conversation. Jordan Brand alone generated more revenue than Adidas's entire North American operation. Adidas made great soccer cleats. Nobody in Brooklyn or Los Angeles cared. So Adidas offered
Yeah, niggas in New York don't give a fuck about no soccer games. Like,
Kanye a deal that no athlete, no celebrity, no designer in the history of sportswear had ever been given. Full creative control over design, branding, and launch strategy, and critically, Kanye retained 100% ownership of the Yeezy trademark. He did not license his name to Adidas, he owned it. Adidas was renting the right to use his brand. The original deal was substantial, but in 2016, after Yeezy had already proven itself, Kanye renegotiated. He secured a 15% royalty on wholesale prices, roughly $18 per pair on a $120 wholesale shoe. On top of that, he received a $100 million annual marketing fund, paid in quarterly installments of $25 million that he could spend at his discretion. To put those numbers in perspective, Michael Jordan makes about $150 million a year from Nike. Kanye was pulling in $191 million in royalties alone in 2020, plus the $100 million marketing fund. He was out earning the most iconic athlete endorsement in history, and he was not even an athlete. February 2015, the Adidas Yeezy Boost 750 drops. Only 9,000 pairs made available globally. Retail price, $350. They sell out in 10 minutes. The resale market explodes overnight. Pairs are going for $1,500 within hours. 4 months later, the Yeezy Boost 350 launches. Retail $200, sold out online in under 15 minutes. Resale prices hit $1,000 to $2,000.
Yeah, niggas was going crazy over these bitches, and these bitches were not all that. Like, bro, these shoes, these the runners, right? Yeezy Boost 350, whatever these is, the runners. These bitches like $100 now, $50.
Depending on colorway. People camp outside stores for days. Websites crash. Foot Locker employees get offered bribes for early access. And suddenly, Adidas is cool again. Not gradually, overnight. Every celebrity wears
Nigga saved the Adidas, bro.
Yeezys. Every influencer posts them. Every kid in every high school wants a pair. Adidas sales jump 14%.
What the hell is them kids wearing on their feet at school? Loafers, gang?
Kid in every high school wants a pair. Adidas sales jump 14% that year. Net income climbs 10%. Wall Street notices immediately. By 2019, the Yeezy line is generating $1.3 billion in annual revenue. By 2021, that number hits $1.7 billion.
That boy saved Adidas, broke ass. Like, what that nigga juicy? I changed this broke nigga life. He changed these broke niggas' lives.
But here is the statistic that explains everything that happened next. Yeezy was not just 8% of Adidas's total revenue. It was 40% of the company's profits. 4 out of every $10 of profit that Adidas made came from one product line designed by one person. The stock tripled between 2015 and 2021. Forbes put Kanye's net worth at $6.6 billion in March 2021, making him one of the wealthiest musicians in history. Over the first 4 years of the Adidas contract alone, Kanye received more than $500 million in combined royalty payments and marketing fees. But inside Adidas headquarters in Herzogenaurach, Germany, something uncomfortable was happening. Yeezy was not just a successful partnership anymore. It was becoming structurally essential. Other parts of the business were slowing. Competition from Nike, New Balance, and On Running was intensifying. Growth targets were harder to hit without Yeezy carrying the numbers. The partnership stopped feeling like an asset. It started feeling like a dependency. And the person they depended on was becoming increasingly unpredictable. The warning signs were not subtle. Kanye crashed award shows. He made bizarre public statements for years. He ran for president in 2020 and received 70,000 votes. He wore a White Lives Matter shirt to Paris Fashion Week. Each time, the same conversation happened inside Adidas. Is this still worth it? And each time, the math answered for them. $1.7 billion a year. 40% of profits. You do not walk away from numbers like that over a controversial t-shirt. Until October 2022, when the math stopped mattering. Over a period of 2 weeks, Kanye went on a media tour that would cost him nearly everything. Podcast interviews, social media posts, live streams. He made anti-Semitic statements. He praised Hitler on camera. The backlash was not gradual. It was total. Talent agencies dropped him, social media platforms removed his accounts, Balenciaga severed ties, Gap terminated their partnership. JP Morgan Chase closed his accounts, and every hour that passed, the same question grew louder. Why is Adidas still doing business with this man?
Mm.
Inside Adidas
He was making their ass money.
headquarters, the board convened emergency meetings. The CFO ran the numbers one final time. Ending Yeezy meant $1.7 billion in annual revenue gone, 40% of profits erased. The stock would crater. But keeping Yeezy meant something worse: boycotts, employee walkouts, institutional investors threatening to pull out. The reputational damage was compounding faster than anyone could model. On October 25th, 2020,
We're gonna crash the stock.
Adidas made the call. According to reporting, the meeting in which executives voted to end the partnership lasted 2 minutes. 2 minutes to kill a $1.7 billion revenue stream. The statement was 3 sentences. Adidas does not tolerate anti-Semitism and any other sort of hate speech. Yes, recent comments and actions have been unacceptable.
But gang, you got a pimple on your forehead, fine. Look at that. Or not on your forehead.
Hateful and dangerous. The partnership is terminated immediately. The stock dropped that day and kept falling for
God damn. That nigga Kanye really saved y'all lives, my nigga. Changed y'all lives.
weeks. The CEO, Casper Rorsted, who had presided over the entire Yeezy boom, announced his resignation. Billions in market value vanished. But the stock price was not the real problem. The real problem was physical. It was sitting in warehouses across 4 continents, and it was not going anywhere. Sneaker companies manufacture inventory from 6 to 12 months in advance. When Adidas cut Kanye, they had already produced the entire 2023 Yeezy lineup. Millions of pairs of shoes, designed, stitched, boxed, and shipped before Kanye ever opened his mouth. 1.2 billion euros worth of product stacked floor to ceiling in distribution centers from Germany to China.
That gang, just give it to the homeless. Give it to Goodwill, my nigga.
Adidas owned the physical shoes, but remember that detail from the original contract. The one that seemed like a minor concession when Yeezy was printing $1.7 billion a year? Kanye owned the Yeezy trademark, 100% of it. That clause, which was supposed to make the partnership attractive, had become a legal minefield. The company had 3 options. None of them were good. Option 1, destroy everything. Incinerate 1.2 billion euros in perfectly good shoes. Take the write off and move on. But burning millions of sneakers while the world watches would be an environmental catastrophe and a public relations disaster stacked on
Yeah,
top
donate the Yeezys. Adidas plan to donate Yeezy sale profits. Yeah.
of the one they were
Fucking shoes the niggas in need.
already living through. Option 2, hold the inventory indefinitely. Pay millions per year in storage costs and wait for a solution that might never come. Option 3, sell them. But who buys shoes designed by a man who just praised Hitler on a podcast? In early 2023, new CEO Bjorn Gulden made the decision. Adidas would sell the remaining Yeezys. They also decided to donate a significant portion of the proceeds to organizations fighting anti-Semitism and hate. They consulted
There's charities that fight anti-Semitism.
with the Anti-Defamation League, with
I ain't anti-Semitic. I just say free Palestine, and I'm gonna keep saying that until they free, until the whole country built back up, because the whole country destroyed.
Jewish organizations and with civil rights groups. The message was deliberate. We are not profiting from this. We are turning a crisis into something constructive. May 2023. Adidas released the first batch of post-breakup Yeezys. They sold out within hours, then the next batch, then the next. Here is the uncomfortable truth that nobody in the sneaker industry wanted to say out loud. The shoes were still good, the design had not changed, the comfort had not changed, the boost cushioning still felt the same underfoot. The only thing that changed was the name attached to them. And apparently, for most consumers, that was not enough to stop buying. Adidas generated roughly 750 million euros from Yeezy sales in 2023 and another 650 million euros in 2024. By the fourth quarter of 2024, the last pair was sold. Total revenue from the liquidation came to approximately 1.3 billion euros. Adidas earmarked 260 million euros for charitable donations to organizations combating discrimination and hate, including the Anti-Defamation League. The warehouse nightmare was finally over. It took 2 years, but the damage was permanent. Operating profit dropped 66% in 2022. Adidas posted a net loss in 2023, their first annual loss in over 30 years. North American revenue fell 16%. First quarter 2023 alone saw a 400 million euro loss directly attributed to the Yeezy termination. Meanwhile, competitors were thriving. Nike posted record numbers. New Balance was growing.
Nah, Adidas back though. Who on Adidas? Anthony Edwards. Them shoes selling. Wait, hold on. I just know Anthony Edwards. His shoes doing good. Wait, Adidas basketball. Oh, they got down. Oh, James Harden. James Harden. Them James Harden is fire. The James Harden shoes is fire. So, They wear James Harden. Them James Harden is hard. Yeah, they got Donovan. I'm sure that's Donovan. Don. You know, James Harden and Anthony Edwards carrying though.
At double digits on running with stealing market
Bro, I want them Hellstar AE so bad, bro. Oh my gosh. Uh, and them Young Thug, uh, Adidas hard, them what they call them? The Hellstar Adidas hard. So they came back. These hard, bro. These hard as fuck. 630 one, bro. The 8Es. It's hard, bro. I like the spider ones too. Listen. Yeah. These out. Spiders. Yeah, they out. The red one's tough. The superstar, yeah. I like all of them. The green one. Nigga just don't got no money though for them shits.
share across Europe. Adidas scrambled to fill the hole. They signed Bad Bunny. They pushed the Samba and the Gazelle as lifestyle shoes. Some of it worked. The Samba had a genuine cultural moment, but nothing came close to replacing what Yeezy had been. 40% of your profits is not a partnership. It is a structural dependency. And you cannot rebuild structural dependencies with a marketing campaign. And Kanye himself went from $6.6 billion to roughly $400 million, according to Forbes. He lost Adidas. He lost Gap. He lost Balenciaga. He lost JP Morgan. He claims his net worth is $2.7 billion now, based on his music catalog and the Yeezy trademark he still owns outright. Forbes has not confirmed that number. The gap between those two figures tells you everything about the difference between owning a brand name and having the infrastructure to actually sell shoes at scale. A trademark without a manufacturer is an engine without a car. Here is what makes this story different from every other celebrity scandal in corporate history. This was not a company that partnered with someone controversial and took a small hit to brand equity. This was a company that allowed one person to become 40% of its profits, knew for years that person was volatile, and chose to ride it out because the revenue was too good to question. Compare that to Nike. Jordan brand is enormous, maybe 15% of revenue. But Nike has LeBron. They have dozens of athletes, designers, and collaborators
LeBron.
across every sport.
But now LeBron shoes is hard. I ain't gonna lie. Them ones with the shoe with the King logo, they're hard. But LeBron's don't sell like no Jordan shoes though.
Subculture. If one relationship implodes, the system absorbs it. Nike built a portfolio, Adidas built a pillar, and when that pillar cracked, the ceiling came down. The Yeezy story is really a story about dependency disguised as success. Every quarterly earnings call that celebrated Yeezy revenue was also a warning nobody wanted to hear. Every record-breaking drop was another brick in a foundation built on one person's stability. And every time the board looked at Kanye's behavior and said the money is too good to walk away, they were choosing short-term profit over long-term survival. Adidas is still here. They are recovering. But somewhere in Herzogenaurach, there is a warehouse that is finally empty. The last trace of a $1.7 billion partnership has been shipped out, sold off, and the proceeds donated to fight the hatred that
The Indian warehouse. Look, they barefoot.
shipped out, sold
No,
off,
they ain't barefoot.
and the proceeds donated to
The Indians love them sandals.
fight
They
the
love them some sandals.
hatred that ended it. The shoes are gone, the lesson is not.
Good video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll do this.